Hi, my name is Dr. Dara Stockton, and I'm a research entomologist with the USDA Agricultural Research Service in Hilo, Hawaii. Today I'm going to be talking about fruit fly trapping, how to trap, why to trap, and the best way to do it so that you can maximize management on your fruit farm here in Hawaii. So here in Hawaii we have invasive tropical tephritid fruit flies. We have the oriental fruit fly, Bactrocera dorsalis. We have melon fruit fly, which is Zygodacus cucurbitae. We have the Mediterranean fruit fly, Cerathitis capitata, and we have the Malaysian or solanaceous fruit fly. Each of these flies is going to use a slightly different lure, and so it's important to know the difference between those lures and also how to differentially place our traps out in the field, because it varies by species. Some of your success is going to come from putting the traps in the right place and having correct ID on the type of crop you have with the associated fruit fly. So this is a McPhail trap, or often referred to as a MultiLure trap. You can see in the design there is a yellow base, which is attractive to the flies, and the top is clear. And we use this in the field. You can buy these commercially to do trapping, often on a larger scale. So for research purposes, these are often used and by extension agents. And many growers choose to purchase them as well, so they don't have to create their own. So these McPhail traps are wet traps, and they're designed to capture the insects when they enter from the bottom into a drowning solution that's applied to the base. So to prepare that, you're going to add water and then just a little drizzle of soap. And that's all it really takes. The soap breaks the surface tension of the water and allows the insects to drown when they fall inside. So then we just close it up, and you're going to add your lure to the container at the top, and you would secure the lid. You can buy these McPhail wet traps online from a variety of vendors. These are just suggestions of companies you can use. The USDA does not have a stake in any of these companies. We do not endorse them, but they are just recommendations as options you can look at as potential vendors. So next I want to talk about some do-it-yourself trap building options that you can create if you are interested in trapping using resources already at your disposal without having to go through a commercial vendor. So the next option I want to show you is a slightly different trap design. This one utilizes Microcentrifuge Tubes, which you can purchase these on Amazon, and there is a link that was included in this presentation below. But what we're going to do is insert these tubes at a few different points on the side of the water bottle, and then we can add our lure to the inside and hang it. And again, this is very effective. And in fact, a lot of people prefer this method. I think those small entry points are often helpful for retaining flies. So we're going to take a pair of scissors and cut off the end of our microcentrifuge tube. And you see I made a little cut into the side, and we just insert it like that. And so now we have a little gate that the fly can enter into, but it has difficulty escaping. So let's make another one of these, maybe a little lower down. Again, we're going to cut the tip off. There we go. And we're just going to insert it into the side. I don't think it really matters what type of container you use. You'll just want to rinse it out so it doesn't have something like Coca-Cola in it. They might like Gatorade. I don't know. It's possible. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make a hanger on this like we did on the other one, but we can also go ahead and add our lure. So this is another packaging for the same lure. Again, this is a methyl eugenol plug from Scentry. And we'll just stick that right in there in the bottom, and those flies are going to go crazy. They're going to love getting in there. So I'm actually just going to tie the string around the bottle neck. So I think that's probably the easiest option. Again, I'll kind of tie off the top of the string. And now we can hang that on a branch in one of our fruit trees when we're ready to put it in the field and start our monitoring. Okay, so we're going to take a plastic water bottle and a sharp knife or scalpel, and we're going to cut off the top third of the bottle, and this is going to create our funnel. So now I have the top off, and on the bottom we now need to create a hanger. So I have a hot soldering iron, and I'm going to use that to just create 2 small holes in the top. This is about 2 feet of string, but the length just depends on where you need to hang it. And I'm just going to temporarily tie that off. Okay. So at this point, we'll just take the lid off of our bottle, and we can insert it to the inside to create this funnel system. But before we do that, you'll take a lure. In this case, we have a methyl eugenol lure from Scentry Biologicals. Always make sure to wear your gloves. You can add this to the inside of our trap. I recommend probably using a bigger bottle than what I did here, but this will still capture flies and is a good option if that's all you have. And we wanted to demonstrate how these traps work. So in this field here, we have some green guavas kind of way up high. So if we were going to trap in this field, we need to find a good branch to hang these. So let's come back in about 5 to 10 minutes and we'll see what our capture looks like in these traps. So this has not even been 5 minutes, and you can see we already have a number of flies in this trap. I'm counting and estimating we already have about 20 to 30 flies that we collected in truly just minutes. Here's a trap that my postdoc Laura Kraft set out yesterday, and you can see that this is a slightly different design yet again, using materials we had in the lab. So this is just a deli container, a 32-ounce deli container with holes in the side, and you can see that it is chock full of these flies. And so that was 24 hours. So let's talk about how often to change your trap. This is going to depend largely on the climate in which your farm is located. So at warmer environments, you're probably going to need to replace your lure every 4 to 6 weeks. But if you're in an upper elevation where it's cooler and a little less sunny, you can probably leave your lure out for as much as 10 weeks. But we recommend that you check on them every 2 weeks or so to make sure that they're still working. And you're going to know if you're finding flies in your traps, and you can detect an odor coming from them. So one of the questions we get often is how many traps to place in the crop. And the answer to this is it depends on what your goals are and what the risk to your crop is. So we typically trap for 2 reasons. The first is for monitoring, to understand whether the flies are even in your field at that time of year. And the second is for mass trapping, which occurs after we know that the flies are present and infestation is not being managed through other tools. And at that stage, we're going to want to deploy as many traps as possible to use this as an actual management tool. For monitoring, we recommend you put anywhere from 1 to 10 traps in your field for detection. Let's see if I can get my hand in here. Oh, Laura. can't get my hand